Hey, it's Candice Quinn with Contract Hack. Let me guess, you are either trying to figure out what practice area to go into, or you're trying to figure out how to get out of the one that you got into. Well, if you're in that situation, then you're just like me. And today I'm going to share some tips with you to help you get out of the practice area that you got stuck in through no fault of your own. Maybe a partner just needed help, or maybe you just took the first job you got because it took you 9 months to find one, and who can blame you for that? Or maybe you joined an in-house group and what they told you were going to do didn't actually pan out because they really needed someone to do something else. So if you're stuck in a practice group that you don't want to be in, I'm going to tell you my own story about being stuck in a practice group, and then I'm going to tell you some tips on getting into a new practice group that you want to be in. So let's get started. So first, I started in bankruptcy. I took the job right out of my bachelor's and worked in it the whole time that I was going to law school. I was a bankruptcy paralegal. So by the time I graduated, I was pretty well stuck in bankruptcy. I was pigeonholed into that like nobody's business. And while I didn't hate it, I also didn't like the idea that my career had just been decided for me without any input from myself. So I decided that I was going to try to work to get out of it. I tried really hard in law school to do that. I was in law review, I was doing all of the things you were supposed to do, but that didn't work out for me. I wasn't able to transition into big law where I could have potentially gotten into another practice area. So when I ended law school, I ended up having to continue in bankruptcy for another year as a paralegal, and then also started a federal clerkship, you guessed it, in bankruptcy as well. So I was really stuck in this position that I didn't want to be in and really needed to figure out how to get out. So from there, I ended up transitioning into commercial finance. So technically, I joined the finance team, which did both bankruptcy and commercial finance. But through commercial finance, I was able to do more deal work. I was able to work on more broader areas, things that had more issues that I was able to see as an associate than just bankruptcy did. From there, I was also able to get into some mergers and acquisitions when commercial finance was slow. So I was still doing bankruptcy, but I also was getting my feet into other things. Now, everybody thinks that they want to be in M&A, or at least it's a pretty popular place for people to want to be. But here's what they don't tell you. It's very repetitive. It's very exhausting. It's the same issues over and over again, and it's long hours when it's going, and it's like famine when there's nothing. So it's not necessarily the practice area that people want to stay in. So even if you got into that desired practice area, you may not want to stay in it, and you may want to be looking for something else. What I ended up doing was actually transitioning in-house, and then I basically from there niched down into commercial contracts, which is a very broad area and has a lot of variety and has a lot of need. So every company, no matter their size, is going to have contracts of some type. Now, if you can get at a company in-house and get on their commercial contract team, you're going to be able to see a whole slew of issues, a whole slew of negotiations. They're going to be very different in variety, especially if you're working at a smaller, scrappier company where even if you're on the sales side, you're not necessarily going to be on your paper or be able to have the most leverage in the negotiation. If you're negotiating against bigger companies, you're going to see their paper and you're going to see having to give up and compromise in a lot of areas, which is really great experience and really great practice. So that's where I ended up being able to be in commercial contracts. I started on the sales side where I got to see all the experience I just shared, but now I'm actually on the procurement vendor side, so I get even more experience and I can build my skills even further. There's not one set template. We're looking at all the vendor templates, and it's a really great way to learn a lot of new things and be able to really establish authority in a lot of different areas. If you're not in the practice area that you want to be in, you need a strategy to transition to where you want to be or where you think you want to be, which was what happened to me and what happens to a lot of attorneys, and that's fine. Tip number one, you need to figure out how to extract the transferable skills from the practice area that you're currently in. in. So no matter what you're doing, there are some skills from that area that will transition to other areas. And if you focus on learning and becoming really proficient at those skills, you can then focus and highlight those skills on your resume in order to help you transition to another practice area. So for example, with bankruptcy, I was able to focus on the finance component of it, having a lot of financial literacy and understanding general components of a deal. And I was able to use that to leverage into a broader finance team, which then got me into commercial finance and eventually got me into mergers and acquisitions. And so by being able to leverage one component of the bankruptcy practice group, I was able to gain enough traction to be able to move into new practice areas. And so once you figure out what those transferable skills are, go ahead and update that resume, update your LinkedIn so that you can highlight those skills and focus more on the skills you have than the area that you are working in currently. Strategy number 2, you need to build a bridge from your current practice area to where you want to go. So you need to start making connections in the new areas. Perhaps if you're at a firm, you may want to make friends with someone in that practice area, start going to lunch or have a coffee with different people, start picking their brains on what they do on a daily basis. And if they need any help, if you could potentially step in if something is busy and you are slow, you need to figure out where that overlap is so that you can build that bridge. Now, if you're at a firm where that might not be possible, or if you're not at a firm at all, then you might need to think about moving in a different direction, like attending different bar functions or CLEs. You might even consider writing some type of article or doing a presentation on that area of the law that you'd want to move into. Networking outside of your firm is also another option, though I understand that networking is really hard. So I am not throwing that around like that is easy. Like you will totally see in another video of mine that I absolutely loathe networking. So while I am saying networking, we need to think outside the box with networking. It might just be as easy as making friends with someone and not necessarily like trying to smooth them and get the connection that way. It's definitely easier if you know someone on the other side though, and can leverage that relationship in order to build that bridge into the new practice area. All right. And tip number 3, you need to set a deadline and really commit. If you're just like waffling about, like, I think I'll do it if the opportunity comes up, or like maybe the opportunity will come up, it's never going to come up. And you're going to get further into the practice area that you're stuck in, and you're going to start getting burnt out, hate your job if you don't already hate it. And you're not going to have the extra bandwidth to do any of the things that you need to do to make that move to a new practice area. So you definitely want to set a deadline, whether that's 6 months, whether that's a year. Focus on that deadline. Like, here's when I'm going to make the move. And while you're waiting for that time to come up, you're not just doing nothing. You're doing strategies 1 and 2 so that you're building those bridges and you're establishing those transferable skills. And when the deadline hits, you are going to start applying for jobs. If you can, you're going to just quit and start looking for and doing what you want to be doing. Maybe you decide to start your own firm in that area because that's how much you want to be in it or how much you hate what you're doing. So you need that strategy and you need that defined goal to be able to force yourself to make that move. Because if you just sit around and wait, it's never going to happen. Like, trust me, it's not going to happen if you just sit around. Employers are not going to be like, I think this person would like to move here. They're not going to do that. You need to be able to control your own destiny and make those moves for yourself. For example, when I first started in-house, I started as a paralegal because that was how I got my footing to get in the door. From there, I was easily able to convince the company that they needed someone with an actual attorney title, not just a paralegal. And so I asked for that and I got the title within a month or 2 of starting at the company. But from there, I didn't have the salary and I needed to wait until I had showed my own value to get the salary. So transitioning to a new area and making this move may mean that you are putting some of your goals on hold while you take these tiny baby steps in order to get where you want to be. And if you're doing it right, it will hopefully all work out in the end for you and you will get to the final package but you do need to look at potentially not getting the whole package at once and getting into it slowly. In other words, you need to be playing the long game very strategically. And firms do this all the time, companies do this all the time, and there's no reason why employees and associates also can't be playing the long game strategically. In fact, it's kind of BS that they don't like when we do that, because that's all they're doing to us. And look, I get it. The legal profession likes to act like there's one great path and you need to stay on that path. And if you don't, you're not going to be successful, or you're a failure. But that's just not true. There are more attorneys out there that are in a role that they don't want to be in, or that aren't on this successful path, than there are attorneys that are on that successful path. So definitely don't just sit back and think this is the best this career has to offer me, because it's not. You can always improve it, and you can always make moves that will make you enjoy your job and have a happier life as a result. Most of us have pivoted, struggled, and ended up where we didn't think we were going to be. So this isn't the end. It's not the be all for you. You just need to figure out what it is you want to try next. And I say want to try next because that might still not be the right thing for you, and that's okay. You just need to keep trying till you find the thing that is for you. And it's never over, and it's never too late. So if you're getting ready to make a move, I have a free lateral move decision matrix that I want you to download today. The link is in the description and the pinned comment below. So go ahead and check that out. And if you think that you are definitely ready to make a move, but you're not quite sure what your strategies should be, strategy 1 and 2, go ahead and book a call with me. I'd love to help you. We can chat through what your options might be based on your goals. So that link is also in the description and the pinned comment below, and I would love to chat with you. Now, if you like this video and it resonates with you, then you're definitely a hacker. So go ahead and subscribe to this channel and like this post. And I'll see you in the next one, hackers. Bye.